Good evening, everyone. Welcome to your Rangers Review Team News reaction video ahead of tonight's Champions League second qualifying round, second leg against Panathinaikos. The team has just dropped, and it is the same side that took to the field at Ibrox. Rangers going with that same 11. And Chris is at the Olympic Stadium in Athens for us. First of all, Chris, how goes it?
It's a nice place. I was very impressed with it. The Olympic torches from the Athens Games are sitting over to my left-hand side here, in this kind of big media working room, different from the room we were in last night for the press conference. So, in true European away game fashion, the press conference room and the media gantry are nowhere near each other. So, a bit of a sprint on later on to get from the press seats down to the press conference to see Russell Martin. Hopefully, it'll be a happy Russell Martin that's waiting for us come full time. Yeah,
that was a brilliant Olympic Games, incidentally. I loved watching that back in 2004, I think it was. I think Greek was on a high. I don't know if that was, I think it was after they'd won the Euros as well. So, very much enjoyed watching that. And enjoyed your little picture on social media. Before we get the team up, Chris, have you enjoyed your popcorn that Panathinaikos laid on?
No other colours of popcorn bag were available. Just to address some of the comments and the Twitter replies. There's a nice big mall actually just beside this, just with the stadium. So press boys here went out for a bit of Italian earlier on. So a big pizza was taken care of before we arrived at the stadium. You're always at these grounds. I think we're 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours before the game we were here. So it's been a long old wait, but we're almost at kick-off time, thankfully, and I say plenty to get into in terms of this particular team selection.
Yeah, I can't believe you had a pizza. Actually, I had a Greek chicken sort of feta and pita box earlier down at a little Greek restaurant / cafe in Warrington Market a little earlier on, and I devoured that. It was absolutely sensational. But hopefully you're enjoying a meat toss or two after tonight, as Rangers hope to preserve that 2-0 lead and progress to that third qualifying round. Right, let's get that team up then, folks. So Rangers, as we touched on at the top of the show, sticking by the same 11 that started at Ibrox. Butland in goal, Tavernier, Giga, Suter and Aarons at the back, Rothwell, Diamandi and Raskin in midfield, Dowell, Danilo and Curtis leading the line. On the bench for Rangers tonight, it's pretty much the same bench, although Hamza Igaman is not available. So it's Kelly, Cortez, Barron, Dessers, Bayrami, Cameron, Jeffrey, Gassama, Fernandez, Gentles, Rice and Xander Hutton. Now, when that team was unveiled, Chris, I did not expect to see Kieran Dill start, given Russell Martin's comments that Jedi Gassama is ready to start. But I don't think that will go down too well, seeing Kieran Dill in the starting 11. But he's gone with him again.
Anyone tuning in who watched the briefing with ourselves and Josh for 8 hours or so ago, I think they'll be as surprised as we are. And we spent most of that show this morning talking about potential incomings in terms of the wide areas, why Rangers need reinforcements in those wide areas. But with Gassama in the squad, the manager's talking him up and being really positive about him last night. Still surprised that he's not been given a chance to start. It felt like a good night for him. You'd imagine Panathinaikos will look to try and score early. They'll want to come and try and take the game to Rangers. If they are putting on a bit of pressure earlier on, I think Gassama gives you a really good out ball. If you can find the right ball, knock it over the top, give him something to chase. There could be space, there could be a bit of joy in those areas for him. Kieran Dill is not going to offer you that. We saw that last week at Ibrox. We've seen that throughout his entire Rangers career. He doesn't offer you that pace. He doesn't offer you that option in behind. So it feels it's a bit lopsided with Dill on that right hand side. Curtis, and we know he had a great week last week, getting his goal. First half though, it was really off it. It was nowhere near it in that first half. So he has to take the second half performance into this second leg, and there's a fair bit of pressure on him now to be an out ball, to be a creative force for Rangers, because on that right hand side, you're not really getting that from Kieran Dill.
Yeah, I don't get it. I know many other supporters feel the same. He obviously impresses in training, and the manager likes what he sees in him. So, yeah, you've got to stick by his decision. He's got to start doing stuff in a Rangers jersey. He's not really done anything of any note. I don't know if I'm being too harsh on the lad there, but I don't think that's his natural position for a start. And I would much rather have had, I know Joshua would like to have seen Curtis out there on the right with Gassama on the left. Many others would agree, but he's a good substitute to bring on, I guess, given his impact that he made at Ibrox last weekend. We touched on the show this morning, Chris, about the approach to this game. I think Russell Martin, as he said yesterday in his press conference, will go out and try and win it again. I'm not too sure where, but it's not much pace in that team, it's fair to say. I think it's all about, as I touched on this morning, ball retention and that midfield trio keeping hold of the ball. Defence, there's a few scare moments last week. They need to distribute the ball as well as they possibly can, because if they do lose it, then Rangers were pretty exposed last week.
I mentioned there about Finlay Curtis not having a great 45 and then having a far better second half, and also had a really decisive moment. That could apply to Rangers in general last week. First 45, not at the level that was required. Panathinaikos, we know, had their chances. Rangers perhaps fortunate to be level in the game at half time. Second half was much more like it. They have to take that second half on. That has to be the starting point. If the first half here matches Ibrox, Rangers could be in trouble. I don't think they'll be able to ride their luck as much. You're relying on also Jack Butland pulling off a couple of saves again. We've mentioned a few times over the last few days the importance of the first goal here tonight. And if Panathinaikos were to get it, it makes it not hugely difficult for Rangers. Still in a good position in the tie, but it really changes the complexion of the night. So really interesting to see what level this Rangers performance is at. If it's anywhere near that in that first half at Ibrox, it could be a long old evening.
Yep, big shout out to Andrew. He gets in touch. He says, just became a granddad today. Keep the faith. We are the people. Congratulations, Andrew. Pleased to hear that. Hopefully it's Rangers can round off your day with a victory as well. But well done on that. Comment coming in here, Chris. Well, first of all, big thank you to Cameron. He's kindly donated to the channel. All he says is, let's have it. So he has got the battle fever on and then some. Mark with a point. He says, you look a bit burnt there, Chris. Are there drink breaks in the game or just a full 45? How hot is it?
Are the drinks breaks for the press boys or the drinks breaks for the players? We'll have our drinks later.
Yes.
It is warm. There's not as much wind here today as there was yesterday. Yesterday it was around about 34, 35, but it was a really stiff breeze every time you went outside. You could really feel that. Today it's not as windy. So I've only just been outside briefly just to take a couple of pictures and videos that people can see on the socials and on the WhatsApp channel, just to give them a wee look at this Olympic Stadium. I've not been outside, so there's music and stuff on, so it's better to do the video in here. But I will head out just shortly and see what the conditions are like. It's going to be difficult for Rangers. It's going to be hot. Now we're still well above 30 degrees. It's something that they'll just have to contend with, though, and you can't make excuses with it. They just have to find a way to get through it, find a way to manage the game, manage the occasion, manage the conditions. And I'm sure if it does get that hot, there will be a provision for a drinks break every now and again, just to keep everybody happy.
Yes, that picture you posted as well. You look like you're miles away from the pitch. You think it's bad at handing, but I think you need your binoculars if you're in the press box there at the Olympic Stadium. You are a fair bit away from the action, Chris.
If there's a tightly contested 50-50 on the far side of the pitch, if I end up getting the wrong call in my match report, don't shout at me, because it's going to be tricky to see it. It's obviously not, the press box isn't central either. It's shifted down also towards the corner flag on this main stand side. So not an interesting vantage point. It's not going to be full. Word from the locals here last night was about 40,000 or so sold. I'd reckon around about 1,000 Rangers fans in that contingent as well. So it's not quite the red hot atmosphere that it could have been. And when you see the tie made, you think, well, it's going to be a really intense, intimidating atmosphere, given the surroundings, given the stadium, also the track round about it. We know from Hampden, we know from other European tips. As soon as you put a running track around a football pitch, it does so much negative to the atmosphere. So I don't think that will be as intense as it could have been. But Rangers don't really want to be giving this home crowd any encouragement at all.
Yep, the Panathinaikos team, folks, they line up in a 4-2-3-1. Vadianitis is not available, of course. He's suspended, I think, by all accounts, on the cusp of moving to Sporting over in Portugal. But it's Strakowski in goals for them, Kotsaras at right back, Palmer Brown and Tuba, the two central centre halves, and Kyriakopoulos on left back, Kiravela and Maximovic, the two holding midfielders, Palestri, Bakasetas and Juricic supporting Ioannidis up top. So that is how Panathinaikos will shape up. I'm very much expecting them to come out all guns blazing. If Rangers were 2-0 behind and heading into the game at Ibrox, the fans would be expecting the same. So it's up to the Rangers rearguard to withstand any pressure that they pose. Jackie B, as Bob said this morning, has to be in fine fettle tonight, I hope. Let's hope Rangers can go and finish the job off. Incidentally, that other, not looking too far ahead, but the other match that two opponents Rangers could face, Victoria Pilsen and Servette, also taking place this evening. Servette holding that 1-goal advantage heading into the second leg of that one. And Rangers would be at home next week for that game if they are to progress. How do you see it going, Chris?
I think Rangers, as I said on the show this morning, I think Rangers have enough both in the side and in the advantage that they've got. I think that should be enough to get them through. Whether they can, as Russell Martin said last night, whether they can win the game or not, time will tell. But I think you and Josh will be sitting in a couple of hours' time looking ahead to a trip to Ibrox next week and a Champions League fixture rather than a Europa League fixture. So I think Rangers will get the job done. Let's
hope so. Right, folks, that team again, it's the same team as last week. Butland, Tavernier, Giga, Suter, Aarons, Rothwell, Diamandi, Raskin, Dowell, Curtis and Danilo. As Chris says, I'll be on just shortly after the full-time whistle alongside Joshua, whilst Chris hotfoots it down to the press conference where he'll hopefully speak to a happy Russell Martin. So enjoy the game. Remember, it's on BBC and also on Rangers TV. And we'll speak to you, on the other side. Enjoy the game. Hopefully your team wins. And we'll chat again soon. Bye for now.